On March 5, 2026, before the first rays of sunlight crept over the horizon, Louisiana was still wrapped in the quiet hush of early morning. Most people were still asleep, their homes dark and peaceful, the air thick with the promise of another humid day in the Bayou State. But that calm was about to be shattered. Louisiana got a wake-up call, one that no one expected and few would ever forget. From deep within the earth, a force began to stir. It wasn't the howling wind of a hurricane or the relentless rise of floodwaters. This was something different, something that felt almost alien to the people of Louisiana. Instead of the usual storms, people were startled awake by a sudden, unmistakable shaking. Beds trembled, pets barked and hid, and families rushed to their windows and doors, trying to make sense of what was happening. Windows rattled in their frames, pictures tilted on the walls, and a deep, low rumble rolled through homes across the state. The sound was strange, almost like distant thunder, but coming from beneath their feet. For a few seconds, the ground itself seemed to move, as if the earth was breathing. It was an earthquake, rare, unexpected, and unsettling in Louisiana, a place where such events are almost unheard of. Reports poured in from the Northwest, with thousands of residents calling local authorities and news stations, all asking the same question: what just happened? Was it really an earthquake, or something else entirely? This wasn't just a minor tremor that only a few people noticed. It was a real shake, one that everyone felt, from young children to the elderly, from city apartments to rural farmhouses. Phones lit up with messages and calls, social media buzzed with confusion and concern, and neighbors gathered outside in their pajamas, sharing stories and trying to calm each other's nerves. In a state famous for jazz, jambalaya, and the rhythms of the Mississippi, an earthquake was the last thing on anyone's mind. Louisiana is a place where people expect storms, not seismic surprises. The event was unsettling, but it also sparked a wave of curiosity. People began to wonder about the forces beneath their feet, about the hidden geology of their home, and about what else might be possible in a world that still holds so many mysteries. It was a powerful reminder that the ground isn't as still as we think. Even in places where the earth seems steady, there are forces at work that we rarely notice, until they make themselves known. That morning rumble became more than just a headline. It became a shared, unforgettable experience, one that connected people across Louisiana, reminding them that our planet is full of surprises, and that there's always more to learn, even in the most familiar places. The earthquake struck at 5:30 a.m. Central Time, just as the first hints of dawn were breaking over the Louisiana horizon. Most people were still at home, many just beginning to stir from sleep, while others remained tucked in bed, unaware of the dramatic event about to unfold beneath their feet. In northwestern Louisiana, the quiet of early morning was suddenly interrupted. Lights flickered in homes, pets stirred uneasily, and people looked around in confusion as the ground began to tremble. For many, it was a startling wake-up call, a reminder that even in familiar places, nature can surprise us. Seismologists quickly pinpointed the epicenter, about 36 miles south-southeast of Shreveport, a region known more for its peaceful countryside than for seismic activity. Maps lit up with data as experts worked to determine exactly where the quake began. The epicenter is the spot on the surface directly above where the earthquake starts deep underground. It's the focal point for the most intense shaking, and in this case, it was located in a quiet, rural stretch of Louisiana. What made this quake especially noticeable was its shallow depth, just 3.1 miles below the surface. Shallow earthquakes tend to produce stronger shaking at the surface, so even a moderate event can feel much more powerful to those nearby. Imagine dropping a pebble into a still pond. The ripples spread outward in all directions. In much the same way, seismic waves radiated from the epicenter, traveling through the ground and reaching towns and communities miles away. Residents in Shreveport, Natchitoches, and other nearby towns all felt the jolt. Some described a gentle rolling motion, while others reported a sharp, sudden shake that rattled windows and set objects trembling on shelves. The closer you were to the epicenter, the more intense the shaking felt. People living just a few miles away experienced the strongest effects, with some even stepping outside to see if something had struck their homes. Scientists rely on details like the exact time, location, and depth of an earthquake to piece together what happened. By analyzing seismic data, they can better understand why earthquakes occur in certain places and how the ground responds. Each earthquake, no matter how small, adds a new piece to the puzzle of Earth's ever-changing crust. These events help researchers learn more about the forces shaping our planet, even in regions not known for frequent quakes. Even in the quietest corners of Louisiana, the ground beneath our feet can shift without warning, reminding us that the Earth is always in motion. This earthquake transformed an ordinary, sleepy morning into a moment of scientific discovery and community curiosity. People gathered outside, sharing stories and questions, while scientists rushed to the scene to gather crucial data. It's a perfect example of science in action, where everyday life and the mysteries of the natural world intersect, offering new insights and sparking curiosity about the dynamic planet we call home. This wasn't just any earthquake. It was the strongest ever recorded in Louisiana. The USGS measured it at magnitude 4.9, a new state record. While not massive by global standards, it was historic for Louisiana. It surpassed all previous quakes in the state's scientific records. The event drew attention from scientists and news outlets nationwide. It was also the most powerful quake in this part of the U.S. in nearly 14 years. Even in regions considered geologically quiet, stress can build and release unexpectedly. This quake is now a key data point for Gulf Coast geology, a brief shake, but a lasting mark in Louisiana's history. So, what exactly is an earthquake? It's one of nature's most dramatic and powerful events, capable of shaking the ground beneath our feet in just seconds. But what causes this sudden movement? And why does the Earth sometimes tremble without warning? Earth's surface isn't one solid piece. Instead, it's made up of enormous slabs called tectonic plates, which fit together like a giant jigsaw puzzle. These plates are always on the move, drifting slowly atop the hot, flowing mantle beneath them. Over millions of years, their movement shapes continents, builds mountains, and forms deep ocean trenches. Where these plates meet, they don't always glide smoothly. Sometimes, their edges get stuck against each other, unable to move. As the plates continue to push and pull, stress builds up along these boundaries, especially at cracks called faults. Eventually, the stress becomes too much for the rocks to handle. Suddenly, the rocks break or slip along the fault, releasing a burst of energy. This release can be so powerful that it moves entire sections of land in an instant. That energy travels outward in all directions as seismic waves, shaking the ground as it goes. These waves are what we feel during an earthquake, the trembling, the rattling, and sometimes even the roaring sound of the earth moving. The underground point where the rocks first break is called the focus, or hypocenter. Directly above it, on the Earth's surface, is the epicenter, the spot where the shaking is usually felt the strongest. Most large earthquakes happen along the edges of tectonic plates, where the stress is greatest. But sometimes, old faults buried deep within a plate can suddenly reactivate, causing unexpected quakes far from plate boundaries. That's what likely happened in Louisiana. An ancient fault, quiet for thousands or even millions of years, suddenly slipped and released its stored energy, surprising everyone nearby. Earthquakes are the planet's way of releasing built-up tension, a reminder that our world is always changing beneath the surface, even when we can't see it. So even in places where earthquakes seem unlikely, the ground can still move, reminding us that the Earth is alive, dynamic, and always full of surprises. When you hear magnitude 4.9, what does it mean? Scientists use the moment magnitude scale, similar to the Richter scale, to measure earthquake energy. Each whole number increase means 10 times more shaking and about 32 times more energy released. So, a 5.9 quake is 10 times stronger than a 4.9. The Louisiana quake was strong enough to rattle windows, but far from city-leveling power. Seismographs record these vibrations, creating a seismogram. By analyzing the waves, scientists calculate the quake's magnitude. It's a simple number that tells us just how powerful a quake really is. Louisiana's 4.9 quake set a state record, but the region has felt tremors before. In 2012, a 4.8 quake hit Timpson, Texas, just 57 miles away, likely linked to the same fault system. The Gulf Coast geology is complex, with ancient faults and shifting sediments. Offshore, the Gulf of Mexico has seen even stronger quakes, like a 5.3 in 2006. These events show that seismic activity isn't limited by state lines. Each quake helps scientists piece together the region's geological story. Studying them reveals hidden stresses beneath the surface. The 2026 quake is part of a bigger pattern across the Gulf Coast. The Louisiana quake didn't come out of nowhere. In the months before, seismographs detected at least 8 smaller tremors, foreshocks, in the same area. Most were too weak to feel, but they signaled stress building underground. Like creaks before a board snaps, these foreshocks warned of a bigger event. Scientists monitor these patterns to identify active faults and potential risks. Even in quiet regions, ancient faults can awaken. The Louisiana quake is a reminder. The Earth's crust is always in motion. No place is completely immune to earthquakes. After the shaking stopped, the best news was that no one was seriously hurt. Early morning timing meant most people were safe at home. There was no major damage, just some fallen items and minor cracks. Modern building codes helped structures withstand the quake. The event became a hot topic, sparking curiosity and conversation. Communities shared their stories, turning alarm into connection. The aftermath was peaceful, letting everyone focus on the science. A powerful event, but with a happy ending for Louisiana. This earthquake is a reminder to stay informed and prepared. Understanding the science behind earthquakes turns fear into fascination. Trust experts and follow reliable sources like the USGS for accurate information. Basic preparedness, like having an emergency plan and kit, makes a difference. Even in low-risk areas, readiness is smart. The 2026 quake was a lesson in geology for everyone. It sparked curiosity and encouraged learning. By embracing science and preparation, we can face the future with confidence. The Earth is always moving. Let's keep exploring its wonders.